Welcome.
Hi. Oh my God, we finally did it. We are a vodcast now on YouTube because you've been absolutely begging us nonstop every week. It's a DM after DM after DM of you just saying, please, Pim and D, please, I'm begging you, can you please become a
Absolutely
vodcast?
no one said that. No one asked for this. Our bosses said at the start of the year, let's make it visual. Let's get a visual podcast going. So he said, all right, let's do it.
You are fired. You are on YouTube or you're fired.
They said, you're done if you don't get this happening. And it only took us 11 months.
We built a home.
Ta-da!
This is our house.
What do you
Welcome.
think?
We have obviously our podcast award. Never forget.
Front and center with the thinker. Is it?
I don't know who that is.
It says someone's name there.
I just
but
thought he
can't.
was cute, so we added him there.
We put a little bow to make it coquette.
Nipples, obviously, always.
Yeah.
Plants, dolphins.
A personalised picture painted by me of Doja Cat, which is Dee's.
Yeah, if you thought that Pip was
Child.
just a thinker, she's actually an artist as well.
Thank you so much.
So for everyone who's still in my DMs wanting to date her, she's a creative. She'll paint you a picture.
But yeah, welcome to this new home. Hope you like it.
Speaking of homes, new houses, Pip, you are in the process of moving right now.
Yeah, it's actually ruining my life. I am so stressed. But I'm finding some things in the crevices of my house as I declutter and I pack everything away. And I'm finding some things from past relationships. Things that I've been holding on to for years. And now that I'm single, I'm like, what do I do with these like really sentimental, beautiful gifts, artworks? There's one in particular that's like really like I'm thinking about right now, and I'm literally like, it's shoved in a corner in my room, and I'm like, what do I do with this? How do I go about this? Because that's what this episode's about.
Yeah. What is okay and what is not okay to keep from an ex?
Let's get into it.
So like we've kind of mentioned, we're going to get into this. You're dealing with this at the moment. I'm dealing with this at the moment. We're finding stuff from our exes and we're trying to figure out whether or not we keep it, right? We'll get into it a little bit in this episode, but like with everything, we wanted to know what you thought. We put it up on our Instagram at Triple J The Hookup. If you're not already following us, obviously do that right now. And what was it? 78% of you said that yes, it's okay to keep stuff from an ex.
Yes, but that being said, there were so many hard no's as well. People were so against it, which is so funny because I'm like a bit of a hoarder of these things. I definitely want to keep my ex's things like down to like the hair, the toenail, just in case. Because I'm like, what if I have to build like a DNA file? Like what if they do something and I'm like ready to go with it? I'm just keeping all my ducks in a row. But
That's fucking disgusting.
yeah, I know. But I'm not actually keeping his. But it would be kind of funny if I was.
I want to first of all call us out for a bit of a shitty poll. It's
What?
It's not a shitty poll, but it doesn't really we haven't really gone in because that could be anything, right? So 78, we said do you think it's okay to keep things from an ex relationship? I think we need to get into the weeds, which we'll do in this episode of but what does that actually mean and what is okay and what's not okay to keep? So I reckon we unpack gifts. I really want to unpack rings, like engagement rings, wedding rings, nudes.
I want to talk about sentimental stuff versus practical stuff as well.
Yeah, if your ex bought you a PlayStation versus your ex bought you a t-shirt with their face on it.
Or made something for you.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I want to figure out as well.
I think we need to get into this a bit more and figure out actually where is that line? Because I'm really confused. We're unpacking stuff and we're is this okay? Is this not okay to keep?
Yeah.
We also asked you though, what have you kept yourself?
Yeah, we wanted to know a general vibe of what people are keeping, and we had this voice memo from Lucy.
So I used to sleep in an old Fall Out Boy t-shirts of my boyfriend's, and over the couple of years we were together, it would just make its way backwards and forwards between our houses, and it was with me when we broke up. So I tried to give it back to him, and he took one look at it and went, I think we both know that's yours now. And then I slept in it for another 2 years before it quite literally fell apart.
So Lucy also DM'd us because we were like, what does your current partner think of it? Or when you had this Fall Out Boy t-shirt.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, so she said that her boyfriend knew it was from her ex and that she had won it in the divorce and he was fine with it. which is great. And I really relate to this because I had to give back a band t-shirt that I loved, and you would have seen it like so many times on our Instagram. Like it featured in a few videos.
It was like all people commented on. Was
Literally, like the
obsessed with this
metalheads
shirt.
came out and they would always be like, "Whoa, I love that band." And now I had to give it back because my ex was like, "I want it back," and I was like, "Damn it!"
I feel like you get to keep the shirts and the hoodies. Like I feel like shirts and hoodies, like you win in the divorce. Like her current partner is right. Like you win that in the divorce.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to shout out this voice memo we got from Rob. It is so funny.
I accidentally came across my ex-girlfriend's dildo and I didn't know what to do with it. So my dog Whip at the time was looking up at me. So I just came up with the idea of giving it to him as a toy to play with. So I threw it out in the backyard and yeah, he absolutely loved it.
That's where I draw the line. I'm like, you've got to put that in the e-waste, babe.
He's recycling. Nah.
That's a pretty
I love that, Rob. I'm all for that.
dog toy dildo.
Yeah.
That
That's
kills
recycling. It's
me.
being creative. I love it.
We got this really great voice memo from Erin, who has kept on to a really specific gift.
So for context, I'm a massive horror fan, especially the classic 50s sci-fi horrors. My ex from early 2023 had bought me this incredibly expensive latex mask of the creature from the Black Lagoon, which has got to be probably my favourite movie of that genre. We ended up on bad terms and I had burned, cut up, thrown out everything else from him, like shirts, gifts, letters, etc. But I kept the mask. The mask had a different sentiment to me by then and it looked cool as fuck, so I wasn't going to get rid of it. It's now displayed on a bookshelf in my living room as one of my prized possessions, along with a few other horror figurines and items. And yeah, my current partner knows the story behind it and he's not bothered by it at all, thankfully.
See?
I had no idea what she was talking about when she was talking about the horror mask, but I just heard the
Yes.
cat and I got so excited. I was like,
Okay, if we get permission from Erin to put that photo up, let's superimpose it in there.
yeah.
Right here.
Let's see what that mask looks like. Also, like low-key love that she burnt everything. I feel like she has such like a strong reaction to her ex. Don't know what he did, assuming it was something shitty. She's then been like, fuck you, I'm going to absolutely burn everything that except for the mask. Slay. But this is what we were saying before, like people who were like absolutely no, you should not keep stuff from an ex felt so strongly about it. That includes Sam, who sent us this voice memo.
I get rid of photos, memories, and everything. They are basically dead to me. I guess I have always been a minimalist at heart, so it's easy for me to feel a sense of negativity towards the items and want to remove the items out of my home as quickly as possible. I feel like you don't need to have any of their photos or any of their stuff that they've given you to be a negative reminder throughout your life, and I feel like throwing it away is the best thing to do, and so the baggage doesn't weigh you down and you can move forward with nothing but positive thoughts and self-love.
Interesting.
What do you
isn't
think about
it?
that? Currently
mean-
going through all of your stuff with your ex.
I think that if I had a terrible breakup, if I felt wronged and if I felt like I needed to feel free from a person, I probably would burn the lot.
Yeah.
100%. So I do understand where Sam's coming from. But if you end on amicable terms, if you're still talking to the person, it's like, okay, then I still think it's fine to keep it. But like, as you said, everyone came through with these hard no's, including Lauren. This line from Lauren actually killed me.
I feel it's unnecessary. If it was monumental or life-changing, a memory's enough. I think the line really gets drawn when you come into it like a new relationship or relationship afterwards, because it comes down to respect then for your new partner. And so giving that energy, otherwise I feel like you're still romanticizing a past relationship.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I feel a little bit split on this. Firstly, babe, my memory will never be enough.
I agree.
I can't remember what I did yesterday. I actually have to look at certain things from my relationships past to be able to remember the memories.
A memory is never going to be enough for me.
It's never going to be enough.
Yeah.
So therefore, like, I need the photos, I need the letters, I need the like little items that I've kept, because I genuinely wouldn't remember any of the stuff that we've experienced together or gone through.
Yep.
But I do kind of second thing. I do kind of agree on somewhat that maybe holding on to certain things is romanticizing the relationship a little bit. Like,
Hard disagree.
but I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't I don't think it's a bad thing to be like, I had an incredible experience with this other person back in the day, and you like look to the things that you've held on to and romanticize it. And I don't agree with it being disrespectful to your current relationship.
Yeah. I think like kind of what you said before, like for me, it's like not that deep. It's just, it is a reminder. It is a part of your rich tapestry of your life. It's history. It's not you romanticizing by keeping like an old photo or an old letter. You're not like, unless you are going into your drawer, pushing aside your dildos, your underwear, you pull out the shoebox, you start reading the old letter and you're like, oh, that was nice, wasn't it? And then you start like, you know, going over it in your head.
I think it's really nice to have moments of reflection and see how far you've come.
I think that's the difference though. Reflection and romanticizing are different. I feel like reflection and just like reminding yourself and being like, yeah, that was cool, that was nice. I don't think that's romanticizing a relationship, and I certainly don't think it's disrespectful to somebody to do that.
Yeah. So you reckon the line is like the intention behind what you're doing with the things.
Yeah, it's almost like how you engage with the things, how you interact with them, and maybe how often. If you're like pining over them, then yeah, like that's bad. Burn the letter. But
yeah,
I think most people aren't. I think that most people are like us in that they like come across something every couple of years and they're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, that was really nice.
I forgot about that.
Or like,
yeah,
you know, reflecting on it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the digital footprint? Because people felt really strongly about this. We're not going to get into the whole debate around like Instagram and like deleting off the grid or whatever, because that's a whole episode in itself. But Steph was someone who was like, you should delete everything.
It's probably just because of a few bad breakups that I've had, but I'm kind of petty. I throw out everything that reminds me of them. I delete them off everything. I delete their number. I block their number. I delete all of their friends. I delete all the photos of their friends. I basically just want to pretend that they never existed and start over.
I can't.
It's giving Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
The nuking of everything.
The friends? Like, that's so hectic. Like, deleting the friends' photos, like any sort of, it's actually giving Ariana Grande's album and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah. Okay, so I have done this before, which is kind of where my whole feeling about keeping everything stems from. And I really regret it because in a past relationship, I had someone I was dating and they were really like uncomfortable with my ex-partner. They'd never met them. They were like in different cities, but they really hated everything about them and the way that they had shaped me as a person, which is so crazy because when you look back at a relationship, you're like, wow, they really didn't like me, huh? Why were they dating me? So weird.
So what was their issue with the ex? Like, why would they not want?
They just hated them. So they basically wanted me to delete all the photos of them, to delete all their friends. I literally went and unfriended and blocked like all their friends. So I lost like a bunch of friends through this as well. I basically was like Steph. I like kind of like nuked them off my social page.
Yeah, but you didn't want to.
I didn't really want to, but at the time I was like really blinded by my feelings for this person. So I was just like, I was scared of what would happen if I didn't do it. So I did. And it was like really horrible because I remember getting like messages from someone being like, what the fuck? Like, why have you like unfriended me and stuff? And I just like had to like leave them like on read. Or unread at that point. And like, yeah, it was really sad. I really like actually majorly regret it. And I was very young and like now I look back and I'm like, I would never do that for somebody.
Yeah, I wonder what people think the line is when it comes to, like for you, absolutely not. Like you weren't like pawning over your ex, you know what I mean? Like you weren't like you were saying before, like romanticizing and looking at old letters and stuff. So I wonder where the line is for partners because I think it's really emotionally immature to be threatened by someone's ex in that way, that you're making them literally delete all of their friends and block them. And if it's not coming from you, like something that you're wanting to do yourself to help you move on or whatever it is.
And it's not only just that friends part, but it's like you're literally getting insecure about a piece of jewelry or like a jacket or like, I don't know, a photo, like a Polaroid or something. It's like a physical item. It's like, dude. But I think that's what we kind of found throughout our DMs and our voice memos, that the people were really splitting it into like practical versus sentimental gifts, right? And we kind of were trying to figure out, what do you identify as a red flag?
Going off what you said about the sentimental versus the practical, this was really interesting because I think that's where the feelings come up with the current partner. Like the current partner will be like, oh, I don't mind if it's like this practical thing. Like, you know, it's like a mug or whatever it is, but if it's something that you're like really holding on to and it's sentimental and has a lot of value, this was something that we put up and asked you on our Instagram. Is it a red flag if your partner has kept sentimental stuff from their ex? And 38% of you said yes. 62% said no.
I was so comforted by this. I was like, thank God, because I agree. I think, partly I think that sentimental stuff should be kept more than the practical stuff, because the practical and like the gifts and like whatever, it's a bag they got you. It's like that should mean less, so it should be easier for you to just like part ways with it or whatever, unless it's like really cool, like Erin's mask, the latex mask. But like I think like you should definitely hold the sentimental stuff closer and keep that a little bit longer.
Really? Because
Yeah.
Harry disagreed. He said as long as you're not holding on to sentimental things of you, there's no real issue. Big difference between something that's practical or pragmatic and something that has strong emotional value tied to it.
Interesting. Well, we got this voice memo from Rustin, who reckons it's a red flag if people hate your sentimental stuff.
The people we date will forever become part of our personal story. If we ask someone to get rid of sentimental items from their exes, we are attempting to erase part of their past and who they are, which is not okay. To me, that is a red flag. All the people I've dated have had sentimental items from their previous relationships, and I've always respected them. I certainly hope they keep some of the items I've given them and cherish the good memories we've created together.
That
Right?
is so sweet.
That is like so beautiful.
Okay, I feel this about what Rustin said. My ex and I split up like 10 plus years ago, and we had a lot of items that like we both had the same thing. Like we both had this like teddy each, right? And there were other things that we both had, and I had always wondered, like we didn't speak over those years, and I'd always wondered, I've kept them all. Some people might think this is a red flag. I still sleep with the teddy. And I always wondered if he'd kept them as well. We just weren't on talking terms. He just wouldn't talk to me. Recently, he passed away, and I found out while his family was going through all of his things that he has kept it. So now I'm going to have 2 of the teddies and I'm going to keep it. And now for me, I'm like, it has so much more sentimental value. And kind of what you were saying and Rustin was saying, it's like, I think that's so important to keep. And it's so nice to know that like you think like, oh, I wonder if my ex has kept this, and then they have. And you're like, that's really special.
And don't you feel like somewhat like relieved or validated to know that he had kept that the whole time?
Yes.
And now you have this beautiful like full circle moment where these 2 toys are now part of your history in your life, and like they get reunited, especially after everything.
To be reunited. I think that's the thing that makes me feel so emotional. I'm like,
yeah.
They get to be brothers again.
And wouldn't you just have felt like when you heard that he had kept this toy, like your heart would just been like, oh my God, like I did too. Like, and that's special and that's nice, and you should cherish that. And that's a memory now that no one can take away from you. That's what it is. It's a memory that no one can take away because it's literally fucking physical.
And
that's why it's important.
It's like acknowledging your past, right? It's like that was a huge relationship. It was my first love. We went through some really hectic times together. And I'm like, why would I want to erase that? That's part of who I am. It's part of my story. It's part of his story. And yeah, I just think that like you kind of what happened with your ex-partner, like if your current partner wants you to get rid of stuff like that, it's like that's like controlling. That's like a real ick or something.
Yeah. And it's like you can tell it is controlling when it spreads into other parts of your life. So for me, not only was it like the nuking of the socials and the photos and the friends blocking people, blah, blah, blah. It was like it started to become a thing where it was like, I don't like this piece of clothing. I had this like red vinyl like mini skirt with like a zip down it, and it was like so cool. I loved it so much. And this person was like, I don't like you wearing that. Like you look slutty. Like you just kind of look like a whore. So I want you to get rid of that. So I like did. And it just like that kind of stuff, like in that specific moment and with that person, obviously that's bled into other things. It might not be the same for everybody else.
Right.
But like for me in my experience, like in hindsight, I could see that it was really spreading to other things.
It wasn't just about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm so staunchly like keep everything, like talk about it with your person now, like let them know that it's like nothing that you're pining over, you're not romanticizing. You're just like, this is just a part of me and like my history, and it's really important to me. So if they have an issue with it, I think they're the issue.
Where do we think the line is? Because I feel like you and I are we're really getting to a place now where we're very staunch advocates for keep everything.
Keep everything.
Keep everything.
Their toenails, their hair.
What do you think about, because you're currently dealing with photos, right? Like, so you've got
Yes.
photos of both of you together.
Yeah, I've got like this artwork photo thing. So I'm going to definitely keep that. That's coming with me.
Do you think there's a difference though with like keeping a photo of you guys and your relationship and photos of you together and displaying it?
Yeah.
Or keeping it and like putting it in the shoebox?
I think it's going to be a shoebox moment.
So photos,
Keep it.
rocks.
I know you love a rock.
I've kept all my rocks.
And I think rocks are special to some people.
I love special rocks.
Letters,
Keep.
artworks. Now, we were speaking to a friend outside of this because obviously open plan office, we're literally like, who's got stuff from their ex in their house? And our friend Stephen piped up and he was like, I have a bunch of artworks that my ex made me, and she's a beautiful artist and musician, and we were like, love it.
Yeah, I think keep.
Keep it.
I think if it's not an artwork of like you guys having sex or like, you know, you could do artwork.
An
where you
artful
like,
nude.
An artful nude, or you like, you know, paint yourself and then you
Yeah.
like, I mean, even then, I just think what's the feelings behind it? If there's no feelings, you just like the art, then who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Now, getting into the weeds even more of this, Dee, we had people come through the DMs to say it depends on how long the relationship went for.
Oh.
So this is what Tony thought.
Where it's a relationship that's had actual meaning to someone, you know, multiple years, particularly if you were younger, you went through uni together or something like that, I can understand that sentimental part there because it's part of who you are as a person and how you grew up. So holding on to things like that's fine. I don't do it personally, but my current partner has a few things from past relationships that were long and meant something to her. But if it's just a fling for 3 months, 3 weeks, whatever, and just someone they barely knew, holding on to things there is really kind of strange because they haven't let go of that person. But you didn't have long enough to get connected in the first place, yet you're still holding on to something from them. That's something that it really needs to be unpacked in therapy, not so much left to throw in front of the partner.
I kind of agree with Tony, actually.
Yeah.
I do see the logic in that.
I see the logic, but I'll always preach on the hookup that time does not equate to meaningful relationships. You could have a month-long relationship that was deeper, more passionate, more sexually connected than a 2-year relationship. So I don't know if I fully agree with that. And we can go around in circles talking about intention, but yeah.
And limerence.
Are they
I was
holding?
about to bring up honeymoon
like
period.
what are they holding onto the items for?
Yeah.
If they just want to celebrate, I don't know. You know?
Yeah. I love this show. I literally get exposed to so many different opinions, and like it's so funny because I just find that so interesting.
People, you are loving burning, and as
People love to burn.
as a witchy queen, you know I love a burning moment.
That's right.
I love a ritual.
Let's
but
talk-
I don't know. I think we're just so staunch at the moment. I think because of what I'm currently going through is really warped how I feel
Yeah.
about this and keeping stuff from an ex. I'm like, don't burn it. That's
Yeah.
special.
Well, there's something that you can't really burn, right?
Oh,
A ring, an engagement ring, unless you trek up to the fires of Mordor. Shout out to my Lord of the Ring girlies, and you throw the ring into the fire, or you throw the ring into a pawn shop and get some money back. Now, people had many thoughts on this.
This is engagement rings, wedding rings. This is a big one. This was huge in the DMs. 74% of you said it is fine to sell the jewelry and keep the money.
which, damn, I'm still not entirely sure where I sit on
Really?
this. I just
I'm
think
like, that, babe, that ring is yours. You sell it.
maybe I'm being sentimental again. I'm like, don't sell it, keep it. But then again, if the
It could have been a
relationship was
shitty breakup,
terrible,
though.
get your $3,000 or however much it's worth.
I fucking hope it's more than $3,000.
Really? That's not very feminist witch of you. You'd be happy with just a little rock in a stone.
What did Taylor Swift sing one time? Paper rings. Yeah.
Sorry, you
All
lost
right.
me at Taylor Swift. Just like I lost you at
I'll
Lord of the
marry you
Rings.
with-
You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
I think you shouldn't. People were talking about giving the ring back. I feel like that's a huge thing. People are like engagement rings in particular as well, because obviously you've said yes, then you've changed your mind.
Yeah.
And giving, I think there's something to giving.
I think giving it back are people who had a really sad breakup for whatever reason, and maybe they just were like Like kind of like Lucy with her Fall Out Boy t-shirt, how the ex was like, I can't take this. She tried to give it to him and he was like, it's actually going to hurt me.
Have the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's something about saying, hey, appreciate the proposal.
True. Yeah.
But I've changed my mind and giving that back. But I think if it's like they've cheated or whatever, you
sell it.
You sell it, you keep it.
You do what you want.
Turn it into some gorgeous earrings, whatever you need. Wedding ring, same. It's yours.
Let's talk about sex stuff though.
Yes.
Nudes, toys. We heard from Rob about the dildo. Don't give it to your dog. But anyway, we asked you on our Instagram at Triple J the Hookup, is it okay to keep nudes from an ex? 19% of you said yes. 81% said no.
Majority.
I was kind of a little bit surprised that it was almost 20% said yes. I was like, I thought it would be lower.
Why? I
thought it would be more like 90-10. Well, we got a DM from Josie saying, I've just started a new relationship and I hope it's going to be a long one, but I'm hesitant to delete hot snaps and vids from a former friends with benefits if it doesn't work out. No plans to look at them while I'm in the relationship, but if it falls to shit, then I'll be sad to have lost the things I deleted.
So she's kind of saying like, I might go back to my friends with benefit.
She's in that like that stage where it's like, oh, we don't know. Could it go either way? So maybe that's the 19%. People are just like, I'm not ready to delete. But you know what? We should have done a follow-up poll and said, we asked your opinion. Is it okay? And then the follow-up would have been like, okay, well, in your camera roll right now, do you have any?
I don't have any photos. I mean,
it's like a safety thing for me. I'm like, I don't want to get hacked.
Mine is just I don't have the memory, the storage on my phone. I have to delete all my photos and videos.
That's so real.
I can't afford it. But
dude.
I'll tell you what I do have. I have Polaroid nudes of my ex. I do not look at them. I just like to clarify, I do not look at them. I don't think I've looked at them since we've broken up.
Just to clarify, what kind of photo? Is it like?
It's not like a porno. It's like.
Or is it arty?
An art taste. It's a tasteful nude.
Fine.
It's lying on the bed. It's more just like it was in a
that.
letter. And so like I've kept the letter and the nudes in there. But I'm not like, it's not framed.
God, you guys were old-timey, weren't you?
I'm still doing Polaroid nudes.
Polaroids,
it's
letters.
Safe, babe.
The 80s.
Ain't no one going to hack your fucking Polaroids.
That's true. That's so true, bestie.
Yeah, bit of a tip there for anyone who wants to take nudes and not end up on the internet.
Well, we got this voice memo from Alex talking about some sex tapes.
So maybe 2 or 3 months into my current relationship, I went onto a locked folder in my camera roll and found some videos of me and my ex doing some stuff, and they made me feel so like icky and gross, and I deleted them straight away. And I think I would have done the same even if I was single. I wouldn't have watched them for any sort of reason or any sort of pleasure. So I thought that there was no reason having them on my phone, especially because I was in a new relationship. I just feel like it's kind of disrespectful to my partner, as well as didn't make me feel good keeping them on my phone. So I just deleted them straight away and haven't thought about it since.
I think that sums up a lot of what people thought, I think. Usually just kind of get rid of those things.
Sex tapes are just another level, I think.
Oh, definitely.
That's
video
like,
is a lot.
Yeah.
I think let's finish up, try and like wrap this up a little bit.
What's our conclusion? I think that it is the intention behind why you're holding on.
And if you have good intentions, if it's just like what we were talking about, it's a reminder, it's a part of your history in your life. Pretty much what Raston said in that voice memo, like it's a part of your past, and no one should really take that away from you. If you feel good about it, you feel comforted by it, or you just feel like that's a nice memory, I think that why intention is good. So I think you should be able to keep it.
Yes. Yeah.
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 But you can agree to disagree. Comment below.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And get in our DMs at Triple J the Hookup. We always love to hear from you. We love to know what you think of these episodes.
We'll do really vague polls that don't really have much scientific meaning, but make sure you click yes, no, agree, disagree. Tell us to shut the fuck up, whatever you want. Just DM us. We love it.
All right.
Okay,
love you.
bye.
Bye.